there be some sound? I'm getting something. Oh, there it is. Listen up for record.
Good evening. On behalf of all teachers, staff, administration, and the Board of Education, I welcome everyone to Kenton High School's graduation ceremony for this year's class of 2022. On behalf of the staff, I want you to know we are proud of you and wish you the very best. At this time, we ask that you stand as Kenton High School's band plays our national anthem. Thank you. You may be seated. I would like to begin this ceremony by thanking all of those who have played an important role in making this a reality for these young men and women. All of the teachers from elementary to high school, friends of these students, and especially their parents and other family members that are here today. On our stage are members of our Board of Education, Mr. Rodney Hensel, Mr. Doug Carming, Mr. Justin Dick, Mr. Brandon Ledley, and Mrs. Tasha Heidinger. Our athletic director, Mr. Brett Purcell, and Ohio High Point director, Mrs. Tanya Ramey. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce the superintendent of Kenton City Schools, Mr. Chad Thrush.
Class of 2022, congratulations. You are about to receive your diploma and enter the fraternity of Kenton High School alumni. As a member of this group, you will always be a representative of the Kenton City School District. In 1914, Helen Salisbury, now deceased, sat anxiously waiting her diploma from Kenton High School. Her last name should sound familiar because our city park at the quarry has been named after her. She began her professional life as a teacher here in our county, but ended up working for the War Risk Insurance Department in Washington, D.C. during World War I. Helen then managed a Sears and Roebuck mail order store and was promoted to district manager of that company. In 1961, Miss Salisbury was elected mayor of Kenton, which made her the first female mayor in Ohio. Our city prospered under her leadership with a new master plan, zoning implementation, city income tax implementation, a new water tower, and treatment facility being built. She also negotiated the donation of our quarry by the France Stone Company. Helen was the first woman to be awarded the Bowling Green State University Alumni Community Award in 1965, and she was given an award by the Secretary of State for the United States for her contributions to the Republican Party in 1982. I shared all of this because Miss Salisbury is one of 3 alumni that we are celebrating today as earning membership to our Kenton City Schools Alumni Hall of Fame. Please join me in welcoming Helen's niece, Roberta Flynn, as she accepts this honor on her behalf.
Good evening. On behalf of Helen Nash Salisbury's family, I'm honored to accept the nomination of her induction into the Kenton Senior High Hall of Fame. She was a remarkable woman who, following a divorce, schooling, raising sons, graduating from college, and doing all the other things that has been told about her, she was a very special woman. Following her retirement, when she returned here, she was elected, as they said, one of the first women mayors in Ohio. She loved her family, her town, and her country, and I am very proud of her accomplishments. Again, thank you for this honor bestowed upon her.
Just a few years later, in 1917, Carl Russell was in your place awaiting his diploma. After graduating from high school, he went to The Ohio State University, where he ended up earning a master's degree and serving as a professor. He was a veteran of both World War I and World War II within the Air Force, serving time as a captain in North Africa during World War II. He remained in the Air Force Reserve until receiving an honorable discharge in 1957 at the rank of major. Mr. Russell returned to Kenton in 1941 and began teaching within the Kenton City Schools. He was the first alumni to be named principal of the high school, and in 1953, and ended his education career in Kenton as our first guidance counselor. Carl was very civic-minded throughout his life, including serving on Kenton City Council, and was awarded the Hardin County Citizen of the Year in 1986 at the age of 88. Graduates of the classes of the 1950s finished their nomination form for Mr. Carl Russell with these words: "We feel he was a mentor, a patriot, an educator, a civic-minded person, and most of all, a friend to students who sat in his classroom, walked the halls of Kenton High School, or God forbid, ever getting called to his principal's office." As a representative of the classes of the 1950s, please help me welcome one of our 2019 Hall of Fame inductees, Dr. James Pfeiffer, to accept this honor on behalf of Mr. Russell.
Mr. Superintendent Thresh, faculty, Board of Education, family, and friends of the graduates, and most certainly the graduates of the 2022 class. I accept this award for Mr. Carl Russell today with a lot of humility and a great big thank you. Mr. Russell, as was just indicated, wore many hats. I had the privilege of taking care of Mr. Russell from the time I came back from practice in July of '68 until he passed away in '98. I will tell you just a couple of things about Mr. Russell. First of all, he was a preemie, weighing less than 3 pounds. And I can remember him telling me the story that his mother, during that first winter, kept him wrapped in a blanket next to an oak ridge stove, an old coal stove, so that she could keep him warm. And he made it through that first winter. He was incidentally a member of a single-parent family, to my knowledge. I also would like to tell you that in about the 1940s, the single-room schoolhouses were starting to close, and they were making arrangements for a centralized local school. Mr. Russell was very much involved with that. He was on the committee, or chairman of the committee, and that's the time when the Hardin Central School was built in the 1940s, and existed until a few years ago when it was torn down. At that time, the rural students would go to Hardin Central until the 8th grade. The students in Kenton would go to the Ellis Building until 8th grade, and then they would meet and start their freshman year at Kenton High School. So it's been quite a trip that Mr. Russell here. I wish he was here to accept this today, but I know he would be very, very happy. And senior class, I know you've been looking forward to this day for a long time, and you've been making plans, and I'm hoping that you've made goals and you're going to follow in your goals, pursue your goals, and reach all the goals that you have set. And I wish you the best. And again, thank you very much.
Our last inductee is Colonel Robert James. He graduated from Kenton in 1964 and then attended Ohio Northern and Bowling Green universities. He came back to teach social studies at Kenton Senior High from 1968 to 1972 before becoming principal for the Marion City Schools. Colonel James was recalled to active duty from the Ohio National Guard and served as an assistant professor of military science at the Virginia Military Institute. Numerous assignments followed, including the Pentagon, where he served as executive officer to the Assistant Secretary of the Army. His military career culminated as the Director of International Affairs and Chief of Foreign Liaison for the National Guard of the United States. Upon retirement, he was selected as the Civilian Director of the Office of Education and Professional Development for the National Guard. He just recently retired from his civilian position as Professor of International Studies and Political Science at the Virginia Military Institute, where he was named the Mary Moody Northern Distinguished Professor in International Studies. Colonel James also just returned from Italy, where he was selected as the American judge at the International Law of Armed Conflict Competition. Lastly, besides his official duties, he and his wife Kathy have served their church and other service organizations, as well as hosting cadets in their home. Colonel James resides in Lexington, Virginia, with their 2 grown children and 5 grandchildren. He exemplifies what it means to be an upstanding citizen and patriot. Please help me welcome Colonel Robert James as he accepts this honor of being chosen for the Kenton City Schools Alumni Hall of Fame.
Superintendent Thrush, members of the Board of Education, members of the graduating class of 2022, family, friends, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't seem possible that just a mere 58 years ago, I sat out there where you are today and walked across this stage to receive my diploma. That was basically the start of what I believe brought me here tonight. Tonight, with my wife Kathy here with me, I'm deeply honored to have been nominated by my dear friends Jim and Penny Smith, someplace out there in the audience, and to be selected as an inductee into the Kenton Senior High School Alumni Hall of Fame. To be included along with Mayor Salisbury and Mr. Russell is not lost on me, as both played a significant role in my life. Mr. Russell was my high school counselor while I was at the high school, and Mayor Salisbury was a mentor to me. But to be selected as a Hall of Famer is a significant recognition of my life's work, and for that I am honored and most grateful. My parents always taught me that service was the key to a successful life. Through my 31 years in uniform and my ensuing time in education with the Kenton City Schools, the Marion City Schools, the George C. Marshall Foundation, and the Virginia Military Institute, and now I'm involved in international humanitarian law, I have endeavored to be of service to those that I've worked with. Your recognition of my lifetime achievements puts a cap on my career. I am deeply humbled, and I'm very grateful for this recognition. Thank you very much.
Class of 2022, You have just learned about 3 former Kenton High School graduates who have made us proud of the diploma you are about to receive. Now it's your turn. Good luck to all of you, and remember, no matter where you go or what you do, you will always be a representative of Kenton High School. Represent us well and believe in yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thrush. At this time, I'd like to introduce our first class speaker, Ms. Helen Wong, who will now share our thoughts with the class.
Hello, family, friends, faculty, alumni, and of course, the graduating class of 2022. It's the moment we've long awaited for our entire senior year, or maybe ever since the moment we first stepped into Kenton High School. We've made it. We're graduating. All of our hard work has paid off, and we're leaving the memories of high school behind us. We are starting anew, and from now on, there will be no more math tests to cite for, no more late nights spent writing essays, no more homework due the next day, no more shenanigans by K&N, no more student section to be part of, no more students to help and guide, no more teachers to help and guide us, and no more senora calling us honey. In this moment, we are graduating and we are celebrating being free from worrying about our academics. We're still fresh from making it through high school. The feeling is new, and the very thought of deadlines, projects, tests, quizzes, and homework start a throbbing ache in our temple and our stomachs become woozy. However, 20 years down the road, the clearest and most prominent memories we are going to remember aren't the assignments that plagued us night and day, but rather the people and relationships we were able to form. Of course, we'll occasionally remember writing biology notes every week of sophomore year, but the loud booming voice of Mr. Downey is one noise that will be hard to scrub away from our memories. I don't think I'll ever forget Mr. Broker with his Starbucks in hand as he greets everyone in the hallway every morning, saying, "See you Monday," I mean Tuesday. Or go, when he finds something peculiar. And how could I forget Mrs. Bartlett? Kind and caring Bartlett with Band-Aids, granola bars, hot chocolate, endless patience, and always willing to lend a listening ear. There are countless teachers at Kenton High School who each have their own little quirks and personalities, but what every teacher, every staff member has in common is the dedication and willingness to help students succeed. Whether that's the math teachers in the math lab and success center helping students every period, the English teachers helping brainstorm and hold writing conferences, the fine arts teachers and directors teaching skills that are applicable inside and outside of the school, the janitors who keep our school clean, the lunch ladies who serve us lunch, or the administrators that keep the school on track and running. Every action the staff takes at KHS is to guide students on their path to success. And I'd say they did quite a good job considering all of us here are graduating. Thank you to my friends and peers. You definitely made high school interesting. You taught me not only compassion, but patience as well. To some of you, thank you for encouraging me to strive further. And to some of you, thank you for teaching me how to improvise on a crew project turned one-person effort. Thank you to the community. The experience we have as students would not be the same without you. Thank you for sponsoring team meals every season. Thank you for volunteering at sports events and musical performances. Thank you for coming to our games and supporting us, and thank you for coming here today to watch us graduate. And last but not least, families. Thank you to our siblings for being our loyal yet annoying friend throughout this journey. Thank you, parents and guardians, for watching us grow all these years, from loud rambunctious kindergartners to graduates with eye bags 1 mile long. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to have an education. Thank you for driving us to school, brushing our hair when we were young, and guiding us to where we are now, on this field with caps and gowns as a chapter of our life closes and a new one begins. As we traverse life, we will come across many types of challenges and obstacles to achieve our goals. Some of us will become freshmen again, some of us will be the new hire, and some of us may take some time to rediscover ourselves. But there is no denying that the relationships we develop and the people we make connections with are indefinitely important to not only our success in the future, but who we become as people. Thank you. Now I'd like to introduce the next class speaker, Ms. Kylie Allman.
Imagine this. You are shoved out into the world, separated from your family, and on your own for the first time. There are feelings of excitement, but you can't deny the feeling of being scared of the unknown. You have dreams and aspirations of what you want to do with your life, but obstacles and hardships are standing between you and that final goal. You're going to have times of joy, laughter, and of course times of failure and learning. But if you continue to push through all the difficult times, you will eventually come out on top of your dreams. Does this sound familiar to you guys? I'm sure you're all thinking of the hit Disney Pixar movie Ratatouille. Well, you might also be thinking of the chapter of our lives that we are getting ready to go into. It turns out that Remy the rat can teach us a lot about the next phase of our life that is about to begin. For those of you who don't know about the movie Ratatouille, or might need a reminder, I'll break it down for you. Remy is a rat who has a love for cooking. He spent many years in an old lady's attic with his very large rat family, studying up on his favorite chef's cookbook. Well, one day things went south, and he was separated from his family and got lost in the sewer. And just when he was about to give up, he found a way out of that sewer and took a look around. And guess what? He was below Paris and the famous French restaurant. Though Remy failed at times, was dismissed as a chef, and chased around the kitchen with a broom, he never gave up. Eventually, he was able to enlist his partner in crime, Linguini. And by directing him while hiding in Linguini's chef hat, he was able to impress Paris's most cruel food critic. More importantly, he was able to achieve his dreams of being a renowned chef, even with his not-so-great circumstance of being a rat. With that being said, today I'm going to provide you all with 3 quotes from the movie Ratatouille. Quotes that represent where we've been, where we are, and where we are going. And I'll prove to you how we can all benefit from looking at life a little more like a rat. Paris. All this time I've been under Paris. Of course, in high school, there are times when we catch ourselves complaining about the upcoming assignments that we have due, the fact that it's too hot without AC, or maybe even the random fights that break out in the middle of the cafeteria. But the fact of the matter is, if we take time to reflect and look up, we are truly at a beautiful point in our life. We are surrounded by staff and faculty that care about us, friends whom we have memories with that will last a lifetime, and opportunities to excel in our sports, extracurriculars, and academics. Most of us have heard the saying, you won't miss it until it's gone, so enjoy the time that you have left, these past few months. And I won't lie to you guys, my response has been, yeah right, Mom. But I can't help but think that Mom is probably right once again. When Remy finally came out of the sewer and took a look around, he was able to see the true beauty of the things that surrounded him. He was below Paris all of that time. So if you could all do me a favor, take off your I can't wait to graduate blinders and take a deep breath. Look around at your peers who you've made many memories with, the teachers who have helped us reach our goals, and the school where we've grown and matured inside of, and take one last moment to appreciate the greatness of it all. Although we might not have been below Paris this whole time, we have been surrounded by people who care about us and opportunities that other students might not get. We are luckier than we realize. Anyone can cook, but only the fearless can be great. As you know, Remy was an aspiring chef, and let me tell you, that rat was quite fearless. He was there to get one thing achieved, and that was to be able to work in the famous French restaurant, as he had always dreamed of. Now, I won't lie to you guys, I'm the furthest thing from a chef. I figured out ways to ruin microwavable mac and cheese. But the phrase, anyone can cook, but only the fearless can be great, is something that can carry us through life, not just through the kitchen. As we step out of these four walls of KHS and into the next phase of our lives, we have to be willing to take risks. We are going to be put in many new and uncomfortable positions. With this, there will also be a world of opportunities that open up for every one of us. Remy the Rat shows courage when he is boldly making moves in the kitchen to make the best ratatouille that he can. While this resulted in many times of short-term chaos, it also proved to work out in his favor. I encourage every one of you to put yourself out there, be fearless in your future endeavors, and watch the horizon of things that you can achieve in your future grow more than you could have ever expected. If you focus on what you left behind, then how can you see what lies ahead? As we are finishing up our time here in high school, it's important to reflect on everything that came with our days of being students here, the good and the bad. For many of us, we spent 12 years wrapped up in being Wildcats. And as our time roaming these halls comes to an end, there are a variety of emotions being felt. Maybe you're nervous or anxious, or maybe you're just ready to get out of here. But don't let these feelings overwhelm you. Every one of us will have a unique path and journey, and every one of us has the potential to achieve great things when we put our minds to it. We have something bigger coming our way. Every single one of us that's in a cap and gown right now is about to go through one of the biggest changes that we will ever endure. Instead of being scared or timid, I challenge you to face it head on, influence it into being something great. And trust me, I know that we all can. The class of 2022 is one of the most bullheaded classes out there. I mean, how many senior classes have scared the entire high school staff with our big, bad, scary middle school reputation? Which, it turns out, we weren't actually that bad. So, Wildcats, we might not use the Pythagorean theorem or Punnett squares in our daily lives, but I'm hopeful that I was able to leave you with one last useful piece of information from your days here at KCS. That we should all strive to be a little more like Remy the Rat. Thank you, and I would like to introduce our next class speaker, Miss Chloe Anderson.
Before I start my speech, 2022 grads, think back to freshman year. Did you ever think that you were going to graduate? The procrastinator in me said, I've got 4 more years, that's a long time. Surprise, surprise, it's not a long time at all, especially since we went online at the end of sophomore year and parts of junior year. They say time flies when you're having fun, and I was especially having fun in the spring of 2020 while I was sitting at home watching Netflix and taking naps each day. Of course, before anyone says anything else, I was getting my work done. But then in the fall of 2020, we had online classes, which at first I didn't like because of how awkward it was. But there was always something interesting that happened each day while online. I'm sure everyone can remember a time when a microphone wasn't turned off during online classes. Even when we went back to school, it was an interesting time, especially when the quarantining started to happen in school. I can remember sitting in Mrs. Norris's class during 5th period and watching as half of my class got pulled out for, at the time, unknown reasons. But we pushed through, and I'm glad to say that we had a mostly normal senior year. The class of 2022 all survived the pandemic and went in and out of school, but in all reality, we don't have that much in common. I can honestly say that we have a diverse group of personalities in our class, from the class clowns to the insane ones in our class who decided to take almost all of the college classes offered, to our most involved athletes and musically inclined. I regret to say that our class isn't as close-knit as classes have been in the past. Each of our high school experiences is different depending on what you were involved with, including sports, music, FFA, BPA. I could go on all day. We do have one thing in common though, and that is that we all have the same roots. Like it or not, we are all graduating today from Kenton High School and officially branching out into something totally different than what we have been doing. It is the roots of a plant that are most important. Hardin County is built upon its strong foundation of community. Think of how many Kenton City Schools, concerts, games, and other events that have brought us closer together to celebrate our roots. It's those memories that have brought us together despite our differences. At the end of the day, our time here in Kenton City Schools, it's our roots in the community that will continue to shine for years to come. I would like to thank the teachers, administrators, and staff for giving us the best education possible at Kenton City Schools. The teachers at Kenton truly care for the students. Thank you, Mrs. Norse, for buying my fourth period stats class strawberry candies for class. I think I'm addicted now. By the way, Mrs. Ely, I now have to eat a piece of chocolate every day now when my 7th period English class started. I would also like to just state that Mrs. Ely called our class one of the best classes she has had in her 22 years of teaching. I would also like to thank Senora for staying with our class and congratulate her on her retirement. Thank you to all the teachers who have made my years at Kenton so memorable. Thank you to the parents who have attended countless sports events, show choir competitions, concerts, and many other events that have supported our class. Thank you to our superintendent and our administration for everything they do. I would also like to point out that Mr. Blue loved our class so much, he decided to come back for our senior year. Last but not least, I would like to thank the class of 2022 for all of the memories. I wish everyone luck in their future endeavors. Soon enough, we're all going to have the certificates that state that we graduated from Kenton High School. Some of us are going to college, some are working, some are going to trade school. But whatever you do, don't forget your roots. Thank you.
Would the class of 2022 please rise? Mr. Thrush and members of the Board of Education, it is my pleasure for me to certify that the members of this graduating class have met or exceeded the requirements for graduation as prescribed by the State of Ohio and the Kenton City Schools Board of Education. These young men and women are eligible at this time to receive their high school diplomas. Class, present yourself. Kaylee Adams, graduating with distinction. Kylie Ullman, graduating with high distinction. Chloe Anderson, graduating with high distinction. Gage Austin. Lauren Bartlett, graduating with high distinction. Luke Boffman. Hannah Beach. Brianna Blanton. Caitlin Blum. Laisha Bordner. Joshua Boyer. Caitlin Boyle. Asher Bridenstine, graduating with high distinction and honors diploma. Austin Brill. Amber Brown. Logan Brown. Jaden Brundage. Jillian Bird. Lexi Bushong. Gage Buxton, graduating with distinction. Angel Chen, graduating with high distinction and honors diploma. Elijah Christie. Simon Kaufman, graduating with distinction. Alex Cole. Grace Collins, graduating with high distinction and honors diploma. Natalia Conley. Karina Contreras. Elena Kuhn. Daniel Davidson. Dalen Dehart. Damian Diaz. Devin Doolin, graduating with distinction. Seth Donahue. Andrew Fox, graduating with high distinction and honors diploma. Logan Galloway. Kashana Garner, graduating with distinction. Wyatt Gerlach, graduating with high distinction and honors diploma. Hunter Gingery. Grant Good. Leela Gordon. Bert Grubbs, graduating with high distinction and honors diploma. Keith Harbor. Taylor Harshfield, graduating with high distinction and honors diploma. Zachary Hart. Maxwell Halshalter, graduating with distinction. Gabe Heilman. Zachary Heinz, graduating with high distinction and honors diploma. Ian Helton. Keegan Hendrickson. Jennifer Herrera Montalongo. Caleb Hirschberger. Alexis Herzog. Zoe Hoffman. Tyler Howard. Helen Wong, graduating with high distinction and honors diploma. Lily James, graduating with high distinction and honors diploma. Theodore Jesenowski, graduating with distinction. Jarrett Jolliffe. Chelsea Kalb, graduating with high distinction and honors diploma. Katie Kearns, graduating with high distinction and honors diploma. Haley Keckler. Noah Ketchum, graduating with high distinction and honors diploma. Zachary Kinter. Kyle Kirk. Madison Kugel, graduating with distinction. Maya Lewis. Liberty Lowe, graduating with high distinction and honors diploma.
Love you, Liberty!
Love you!
Samantha Lowe, graduating with high distinction and honors diploma. Caleb McKenzie. Marissa Marling. Nicole Martinez, graduating with high distinction and honors diploma. Madison McPherson, graduating with distinction. Haley Melvin. Bryce Mercer. William Mercer. Damian Messmer. Nakoma Miller. Addison Maud, graduating with high distinction and honors diploma. Alexis Moore. Bobby Morrow II. Seth Nelson. Derek Newman. Bailey Phillips. Zane Preston. Brent Rader. Riley Reed. Riley Roby. Aaliyah Rogers. Haley Sams. Teresa Sanchez. Brandon Schultz. Mahala Sharp. Brenna Shirk. Connor Shirk. Brandon Slack. Ariana Spangler. Tristan Spears. Jocelyn Stauffer, graduating with high distinction and honors diploma. Jay Gunnar Stout. Caitlin Sturgeon, graduating with high distinction and honors diploma. Jacob Taylor, graduating with distinction.
Hi, Jacob.
Matthew Temple. Sophie Thompson. Alyssa Tidd. Shelby Tillman, graduating with distinction. Ethan Tucker. Evan Tudor. Tyler Wall. Jaden Watkins. Stephen Weaver. Zachary Wedderts. Laisha Wells, graduating with distinction. Leela Yoder. Trenton Yoder, graduating with high distinction and honors diploma. At this time, our last class speaker, Ms. Chloe Anderson, will lead the class in the changing of the tassel. Please join me in congratulating the class of 2022.